I built another custom Thomas Wooden Railway set, this time based off the episode Toby and the Flood from Season 5. This was one of the most intense episodes of the show from the early seasons of Thomas and Friends, and that's why I think it would have been the perfect choice to make a wooden railway set. Now my rule when I make custom sets is to make it as close as possible to what I could have seen Learning Curve or Mattel releasing at any point in the wooden railway line. I think this one I pushed the envelope a little bit more than I have previously, but ultimately I do think it could have been made by Learning Curve in the late 90s. The episode Toby and the Flood first came out in September of 1998. Now, Wooden Railway generally doesn't release a set the same year an episode comes out, but I'd really like to make an exception for this. Honestly, the stuff that I have in the set are able to be purchased in either 1998 or 1999 with only one exception. So I mean, if they want to push it to 1999, that's fine. But I think this would have been a fun late release in 1998 or even a fun release at the start of 1998 that really builds up to some of the craziness that happens in season 5 of Thomas. As I alluded to, there is one exception, and that is the gristmill with water wheel that was retired in 1997, although it was still available in the Roundhouse set and the Day at the Work set, which both lasted a long time in the wooden railway line. Now, it is retired at this point, but I think we might as well make an exception, put it in, and while yes, it is in 2 prominent sets at the time, I think it does add a little bit, but at the same time, if they need to take something out, I assume this would be the first thing that would have been taken out. This episode featured 3 big characters, and I made sure to include all of them. Those of course being Toby, Percy, and Harold. I can't imagine making an episode based off Toby and the Flood and not have these 3 in it. They are just must-haves and must be included in this set. I think the biggest downside to this set is in the late 90s, there wasn't really anything that really crossed over well into being part of a Toby and the Flood set. So ultimately, while there are 3 things featured in this set, none of them are too exciting to be quite honest. Now this set does include the Archstone Bridge, which quite frankly was available in so many sets of Wooden Railway over the years, so if anything needed to be changed, this would probably be the first thing. You could just replace it with regular track, but I thought at least would add something here in a set that I think kind of is missing a lot. And we could pretend that water goes underneath this as it goes to the next part of the set, so at least we're getting some imagination from the Archstone Bridge. I think probably the biggest feature of this set is the arch viaduct. I kind of imagine it as what breaks loose in Toby and the Flood, and the way I have it set up is that if you wanted to pretend water came from this, it would go right into an 8-inch straight piece of track, and that's where the adventure could really begin in this set. But it's honestly kind of disappointing to look at the arch viaduct as like the big feature of this set. Quite frankly, I hope that if the set was to actually be released, that they would create something a little bit more special than just the arch viaduct, but since that's what was available at the time, that's what I decided to go with. I also included the Sodor cargo crane, which at this point was in its 2nd year of production and had yet to be featured in a set. And of course, when you look at the episode, nothing like this was a part of the episode, but I thought it'd be a nice addition for what was going on in the set. Like I said, there's not a lot of big accessories that go on in this set, so something like this is a little bit different, a little creative, adds 2 lines to the set, which was something I was kind of wanting to do in the first place. So while it doesn't really fit with what went on in the episode, this isn't a great way to really remake that episode in your own way. It is something unique that wasn't available at the time in a set. Now the arch viaduct and 8-inch piece of track are purposely placed where they are, so as the water leaves the arch viaduct and hits the 8-inch piece of track, it can take Toby away. Now I did something I haven't seen done before in the Wooden Railway line, and that's including the track to surface ramp, male and female, and you can use those to replace the 8-inch piece of track that washes away, which means when they're not in use, you can't really use them elsewhere on the set, but I think it does a really good job at being able to remake such an important part of the episode. Now I do like the design I ended up using for this set. Essentially there's 3 loops that you can take, a small, medium, and large essentially, but I think it's unique in terms of how it comes out. It's essentially a big circle at the end of the day with smaller loops inside it, and I haven't really seen something like that before in the Wooden Railway line. Personally, I feel like though the biggest disappointment here is just it's not that exciting. The things that I included in this, I felt were necessary for the set to remake the episode Toby and the Flood, but ultimately, without creating something unique, it's hard to really take what was available in the Wooden Railway line at this time and make something super exciting for Toby and the Flood. Now, as I said, I would have liked to see Wooden Railway create something exclusive for the set, and honestly, I think the easiest thing they can do is just take the arch viaduct, include risers that you put underneath it to essentially block out the part that would be normally used for trains to go underneath it. That's why when it breaks loose, you can just knock those parts away, and I think it just helps to create a better remake for this episode, and honestly is a very easy thing for them to create. And the curved design of the arch viaduct is definitely not ideal. I would like it to be on probably an 8-inch piece of track as well, but similar design. I think that would be the most ideal way to do this, but you could still get away with the arch viaduct like I do here. Ultimately, despite no big feature piece of this set, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. You also get Sir Topham Hatt, a stop sign, a cargo car, and it just helps take all that to the next level. I think there's a lot of spots that you can remake what happens in the episode, including Percy chasing Toby as he gets swept away. Toby and the Flood is one of the most memorable episodes of Thomas and Friends, and especially Season 5. I think it was more than worthy of having a Wooden Railway set created for it, and that's why I built one today. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more.